Greetings, I'm standing here at my desk because it's time to pick my shadow of the week. My shadow of the week this week is a palette, and it's a little different. It's something I'm calling Mauve Cherie. What I have done is I have taken a palette that I like and that I saw, and I've tried to recreate it using the colors that I already own. So let me show you the palette first. It is called Mauve Cherie. I saw it in Sephora and snapped a photograph of it. And I just really liked all of the colors that they combined. Many of you know I try to go without phenoxyethanol, without parabens, without a lot of additives, and that more recently I've been trying to pay attention to animal testing and to companies that don't do animal testing. So sometimes it can be frustrating when you go into a store like Sephora or Ulta or a shop at the mall and you see a lot of things, but you think, I really don't want to purchase those. Sorry about that. I had to change rooms. It's a rainy day outside and I woke up really early this morning, like at 5:35, and I think I got my husband up. He just said, I gotta go back to bed. So he went into the bedroom and I was filming there, so now I'm in the dining room. I was saying that sometimes I want to get palettes because I'll look at them and you know, you get that kind of palette lust thing that comes over you and you look and you go, ooh, I really, really, really want that. But I have all these rules that I'm trying to follow, and so I will pass them by. But a little part of me still has kind of product lust, and so I like to go back and dig in my collections, and oftentimes I find I already have the colors. And what I really was lusting after was not that specific product, but the color and the arrangement of colors. That was the case with the Lancome Mauve Cherie. I didn't really want the Lancome shadows, I just wanted that color palette. So what I did is I went home, I got on the net, I started reading about the palette. One of the really interesting things is everyone says the palette doesn't swatch the way it looks in the pan. So that was cool, because really what I want is the colors the way they look in the pan. Bottom line, I'm going to go through my collection and show you colors I have that are similar. These are not going to be dupes because I don't have the original and haven't swatched the original, and I really don't want to swatch the original. I just kind of want this combination of colors. I guess what you could say is that the combination of colors is inspired by the Lancome Mauve Cherie palette. In putting together my Mauve Cherie palette, I am keeping several things in mind. Number one, I want clean product. I don't want things that have fillers and phenoxyethanol and all that other stuff. Number two, I want companies that don't do animal testing. And number three, I've gotten in a lot of pigment samples. So I wanted to try to show some love to some of the new pigment samples I've got in and found this would be a good way for me to start playing with them. I think I had 5 companies that I was playing with. Let me see if I've written them down. And I have. The first is Farinay. And Catherine McTee and AZ Liz Jane kind of told me about Farinay and said, have you ever heard of these? And I said, no. And so I ordered some. The second one is Purinata, and that was from my Natural Beauty box. Fusion of Color. I got a bunch of colors in from Fusion of Color, and I have been trying some of those, but I have some of those tucked in my Mauve Cherie collection. Aroma Lee. Aroma Lee is an interesting company. Aroma Lee was initially one of these kind of glamour doll eyes like company, very edgy, cutting edge with pigments. But there was drama around it. And there are 2 sides to the drama. There are always at least 2 sides to the drama. One side was that somebody called them out for using products that weren't FDA approved, and the other part was that somebody was out to kind of sabotage their fledgling company. Not sure what happened. But the result is that Aroma Lee is back with new FDA-approved formulations, and that there has been some change in the management of that company. So I got some Aroma Lee pigments. Number 5 is Raving Beauty, and I've used the pigments by Raving Beauty before, and in fact I use her pressing medium when I press colors. All 5 of those, Farinay, Purinata, Aroma Lee, Fusion of Color, Raving Beauty, do not test on animals, and their product is fairly clean. I also decided that in addition to the pigments I was sampling, I would pull out this Philosophy palette from last fall A lot of the Philosophy products I won't use. I won't use their mascara, for example, because it will have phenoxyethanol or something else in it. But this particular palette I'm comfortable using. And the second thing I pulled out was my Balm Nude Tooth palette. The Lancome Mauve Cherie palette had 5 tones, and I'm just going to run through what those 5 tones were. I'm going to go ahead and start with what I think of as the standout color for the collection. The standout color is a metallic purple with reds. It's recommended to go on the lids. Very beautiful color, really, really intense color. I'll show you what choices I had for that. The first color is from the Philosophy palette, and it is this color called Sparkling Amethyst, which is indeed a purple color with red undertones. And there it is. It just comes off very plummy. So that's number 1 shade. And while I have palettes out, the second color that I chose was this color Silly by the Balm. It's a little darker into the brown family. It does have metallic to it, and so I thought that one would be a possibility. The next color is by Glamour Doll Eyes, and it is called Junebug. This one has got much more sparkle. There it is, very grapey, but it does have the red undertones. And the last is a sample by Aroma Lee of a color or shade called Elizabetta. There you go, you can get a good look at that. That is really a duochrome, isn't it? But you can see when it's on this that it's very much that same color family. The next color that I will go to is that dusty purple mauve with the satin finish. Number 1, Pumpkin and Poppy Garden of Magic. I played with this last week. It is very dusty purple mauve. A little bit of shimmer. Shine, I would say, more than shimmer. The other one is a color by Fusion of Color called Golden Violets. This is actually the closest to what I saw in the Lancome palette. This Pure Anata pigment is in the shade Wisteria, and that also is high shine, so it doesn't give me the flat. I'd have to mattify it and see what happened when I mattified it, but that is a possibility for that color category. This big Philosophy palette did have this pink satin color. This is a flat though, matte, but when I need to mattify things, these two are mattes, and I'll be able to use these to mattify. So those were my kind of dusty purpley colors. The third was the liner, and it is a black with sparkles, or perhaps a charcoal black with sparkles. For liners, I have 3 of them that I kept out. One is this color, Pistol Pistol by Glamour Doll Eyes. Ooh, it is so pretty. Look at the color shooting out of that. So that is one liner. Can't wait to play with that one. I like it that you can play with colors that are this dramatic and just use them as liners, and it's just going to be a little something, but not anything scary. The other color is by Farinay, and it's called Immortality. Farinay is a bold pigment line, I will say that, and so I found myself going, that would be a good liner. In other words, I was scared. Whenever I say that would be a good liner, it is my safe. I'm using a safety zone. This is the Glamour Doll Eyes. This is the Farinay. You can see this is going more towards the bluey charcoal. This is going more towards a brown charcoal. Both really beautiful. Both very, very shimmery, sparkly, really fun. Can't wait. And as eyeliners, I know I can get away with them. You know, I'm not going to be able to put stuff like this on the lid most likely, although maybe it's a little dab or something, but at 53, when I look at this, I go, okay, eyeliner. Sure are beautiful though. The last thing I kept out, and it is not a charcoal shimmery anything, but I wanted to give that purple eyeliner Witch's Brew from I Put a Spell on You collection in Pumpkin and Poppy. I didn't get to play with it much last week, and I thought it would go with these palettes, so I am keeping that out, and those are my 3 eyeliners for the week. I saved the hardest categories for last. There were 2 shades. One is supposed to be an all-over shade. The other is supposed to be a highlight shade. Both are intensely shimmery. One is supposed to be a rose, peach, gold shimmer. And the other is one that some people even described as silver taupe, others described it as a gold beige but with a high shimmer. I think what distinguishes the two is that one is a little darker and doesn't have that rosy, peachy sheen to it. I was up for the challenge. Could I see a difference in the kind of beige tones? So the first one, this high shine champagne rose gold peach. I have exactly the color in my collection. I have a sample of it from Raving Beauty. I just ordered more of this. It is the Peony Blush, it's called, and that's exactly what it is. It is a high shine rose gold color. There it is. I love it and find it very, very wearable. So that was an easy one to select. Then it got harder. This other highlighty, shimmery color was more difficult for me because it was described as gold beige, high shimmer, hint of purple. It was alternately described as a silver taupe. So I pulled out Pure Annata in Cafe Latte. There it is. And you can see how much more beige and taupe that is than that rose gold pink color. So I was quite happy with that. This is all I have of that though, just this little tiny thing. This was one of the companies I wanted to go ahead and order more from that I got from that Natural Beauty box. One of the things I love about the Natural Beauty box is that there have been a ton of products that I've enjoyed. It's been so far the best beauty service box thing I've had. The bad news is that if you go to reorder those puppies, they're coming from Canada and the shipping is so high, it's prohibitive. So while the prices are really good and you're getting a discount, the shipping was anywhere from $14 to $19. I went, yikes, so I didn't pull the trigger on those. But I digress. The last one is this color Aromalie Branch Out. And there it is. Kind of got messy with that. So there is the rose gold, there is the beige, this is this one. It really goes into the taupe family. And it does in fact have purples that come out of it. So those would be the three in that category. Let me run through the blushes that I pulled for this week to be using with my Mauve Cherie palette. One is this color Berry by 100% Pure. In the summer I'd been mixing it with strawberry, mainly because I got the strawberry and it doesn't work and I had to find a way to make it work. I don't think I'll ever get through all that strawberry. I think that's going to go by the wayside. But I do love this berry, and so this I'm going to get to use by itself. Hooray! The other is this Pumpkin and Poppy Rose Gold Blush. And there it is swatched. It's very pretty on. It's pretty swatched too, but I really like it on. For lip colors, I haven't used my Big and Healthy lipsticks in a while. These were certainly purchased, I think, before it was Shiseido, and I love these lilacs. So this is Vienna, and I like to use it in combination with Acapulco. Give myself a rather two-tone look. I also pulled this color Famous from Makeup Geek. Really like that color as well. And from Philosophy, on the more sedate front, I pulled this color Golden Rose. There it is. What's funny is that I pulled it from my tube collection, and then when I looked at this palette, it had Golden Rose. That's the color that they recommend using. So I was like, wow, we came to the same conclusion independently that that would be a good shade to use with those colors. I'm going to have too many combinations for the week. That's going to be my problem. But it was fun pulling them all, I'll tell ya. I found this really creative and fun to do. It was really a blast. It was, a little bit of research, finding out what the colors were, listening to people talk about the Lancome palette, and then from there, swatching, and going, no, that's too this. I have to say, I picked a hard one to begin with because it had those two beigey, high shine colors that I had to find, not dupes, but something close. In sum, that's my shadow of the week. I'm calling it Mauve Cherie, and it is Lancome Mauve Cherie inspired. It feels extraordinarily like fall to me. I hope you all have a great week coming up. Make it a good one. Bye.